just before we get into the conversation. Of course, all share index rises by about 0.03% yesterday. But more especially, we'll be looking at the gain for the week and the performance of the market since the start of the new year. Well, more importantly, we'll also be looking at the fact that the market performance was driven much more by some activities, especially the listing of the Bua Foods PLC on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. About 18 billion ordinary shares of Bua Food were listed at 40 naira per share under the consumer goods sector of the NGS. So with the trading symbols, you can be seeing them as Bua Food henceforth. Well, to put some perspective now is Ambrose Amodian, Chief Research Officer, Investigator Consulting Limited. He's a regular feature on Business Breakfast here. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me again. Thank you.
Okay. Well, let's begin from the performance of yesterday. And you're going to give us the performance of yesterday. Thereafter, of course, what are some of the growth drivers, or will I say the drivers for the week? It's just the first week of the new year, and so we're seeing positive trends in the market, and we're seeing positive sentiments dominating activities in the market. So what would you attribute this to? I know a lot of people will say, okay, there's a lot of activities like listing of the Bua Food on the NGS.
Yeah, I would say that in Nigeria, we have seen a change of event, especially in the last 5 years. If you take that stretch, we say for the 12 years at stretch, our market has been up in the month of January 7 times and down just 5 times out of 12 years at stretch. It tells you that January has something that goes for it. But before now, because of January 1st, people say that, oh, January is where people are selling to pay school fees to do all this one to start the year. But the market has changed. And what led to that is that, one, some portfolio investors are changing their strategy, and also the NSE came with a policy that, at the end of every year, especially the last quarter of the year, release your unaudited account within the 30 days, which falls in January.
Right.
Before now, it is not done. It was done on the 2009 was the first time. 2018, was the first time it started. Then, from 1918, you see, market started adopting it as a kind of a trend or a sentiment that always support the market. Then, now that we're already in that January, we have seen that the first trading day, even yesterday, has been on the green. It tells you that something is also on the line. And don't forget that we are seeing positive numbers from the economic angle, and also we're expecting that to see inflation figure for this month, any moment for December, any moment from now. Also, MPC meeting is coming up this month too, and also crude oil has rebounded even above $80 again. They tell you that there's something going for our market at this peak, especially if crude oil is bouncing back, despite there is a adjustment in supply, or there's kind of a crisis somewhere that's going to push the price, but it's going to impact our own reserve. That also will attract foreign investors. Right. Also, if you look at the market activities, those big names in the market, you see foreign investors are still looking at them. Stock like Teplat, stock like Ete, you can see that foreign portfolios are still interested in those stocks. Before one, these stocks are listed, there's a dual listing they have. Teplat was listed in Nigeria, also in London, same also for Ete. You see, many foreign investors that want to move money away from Nigeria easily can buy into that stock. And that's why you see activities in these stocks are also their high cap stocks. When they gain, they're going to impact on the market positively. That's what we're seeing. But the good thing that now, in the past 2 days, we are seeing that dividend-paying stocks are starting gathering momentum in terms of volume. It tells you that retail investor, local investor, and some foreign investors are also looking at work to position ahead of dividend, knowing that the year has ended. From this month till end of March, we expect companies that have December as year end to raise their full year result, and it will come with reward. And that also we are positioned ahead of that. Also, seeing that most of these companies dividend yields are high and above the treasury bill, now rate or return. Most of them are seeing that stock can give them quick return in the short run. For that, we are seeing that now they are positioned ahead of that. These are the factors that are also supporting the month of January and the first week of the year. And also, I see that it might likely sustain in the next week, because most of the portfolio managers are not back to the market because of the holiday. That means from next week, we are seeing going to a full trading week. Don't forget that we had a 1 day public holiday this week. That was on Monday. That means we are trading for just 4 trading days. Then when we enter the next week, the first straight full week for the year of January, we expect that most of the fund managers will come back to the market with still more activities, knowing that, as we speak now, we just discussed about debt, knowing that the government has the task to borrow money now because they want to fund the deficit budget of 2022. But what rate are they borrowing? If they continue to borrow at a lower rate, as I said earlier, that will also be what we call, funds will be leaving most of the fixed income market to equity market, but it depends on the policy that we're expecting, because rumor of removal of subsidies on that way, and other things going to happen in terms of seeing the economic data. But I don't expect that CBN or MPC meeting they will change interest rate on their first meeting for the year. If not, if they do that, they're going to bust the little recovery we're seeing. Because as to tell you, whether the economy is recovering, as to tell you, those economic recovery are still very fragile and weak. We're not expecting in the first MPC meeting this year for them to adjust the MPR. No. If that happens, this will sustain the market momentum we're seeing.
BUA, BUA Food traded about 11.2 trillion units of shares yesterday. Yes, coming on the floor. So let's talk about these, what I describe as the big elephant meat, so to say, 18 billion ordinary shares listed.
Yeah, for me, it's a welcome development in the market, and who will say kudos to NGS and the BUA themselves. Bringing this to the market, now investors have more choice to play in the data sector, the food and beverage sector, and also knowing that these companies are going to also employ more people. For me, it's a welcome generally for the economy and also for the market. It's also going to boost the market capitalization, which is good for us to measure where the market is going. But again, a stock like this coming to the market around the 14 naira, almost eating about 18 billion shares. The share already is large, but the good thing is that this share is not in every even Nigerians. It's in a few hands, and that we're likely to see what we call a tight shareholding structure in the company. But as we speak now, the first day it was traded, we saw about 1.24 billion shares traded. Drop as fast, sharply low to as 11 million as at yesterday, the second trading day. It tells you that these stocks or these shares is not outside there, but the people that are hitting is important. But also you want to look at the industry where it's entering. What is the valuation in that industry? If you look at the 11-month number that were used to prepare this listing, I think BUA is having about 300 something million turnover and around 78 billion bottom line, which is profit after tax. Pointing out to around the earning per share of around 4 naira 38 and the book value of around 14 naira. But if you look at another one that is that industry that is also big, or which is the flour mill. Flour mill turnover for even second quarter results about 500 something billion, and the PAT for me is around 10 billion profit. But if you look at the price, bring the price together now, flour mill is selling around 29 naira, while BUA food is selling around 40 kobo. For me as an investor, we need to look at where will it be now that yes, we know that we're expecting third quarter result of flour mill in the market this same month. And BUA does use the 11 month of 2021 result for the listing. That means we have just only a month performance for this December, last December, by end of March. We'll also be expecting their full year result start coming up for the financial ended 2021 properly. Then for me, investors should look at where should I be? A stock that is having about a turnover of almost 500 billion, and one that is having almost 300 billion. Which one will I position myself? Where will I be? Because if a company is driving his top line, it means that the company is eating into other people's market. That means it's taking position. Then for me, I see more opportunity in flour mill now. But if you are thinking short term, you want to do momentum investing or speculative investing. Yes, if you enter BUA at 14 naira, then at 50, 60, you have made 30%. That is a good business. In less than 1 week, you can run. But you also look at the dividend.
But what's the appetite what for these shares of BUA at the moment? Because yes, it's 14 naira, 18 billion units of shares out there at the rate of 14 naira. So one wonder, what exactly are they getting at? What do they want to do? Some would have thought that it should be lesser than 40 naira.
That's why I'm explaining all this to you, so that you as an investor should make a choice. They have listed the price at 14 naira. It has appreciated to around 48 naira 40 kobo, which is good. People have been able to enter at the first day at 14 naira. Good, have made profit. You that want to enter now, is it worth you buying at this point? Unless you're a long-term investor. But don't forget that food business is good, but it's a function of other factors. If by next year, by this year now, by March, they remove subsidy, and price of everything in the market goes up, I'll tell you, consumption will slow down for, even though we know that food is essential, we need, there are some food that people will do without, and also if you look at the line of products that were listed, fine, these are essential products they have in BUA, conglomerate to that become the food, fine, they are, it's okay, but investors consumers want to look at, and this will affect numbers of many of these companies.
You probably want to take us through the direction of the market with your live chart and looking at where the market is headed. Yes, we have a bit of sentiment rising for shares playing in the consumer goods sector and all of that. Yet we've seen inflation going up. It's not likely to come down. So one wonder how these people are ready to make, yes, of course, make their money from it. Because if you're not buying, if more people are, the buying power, once the buying power drop, you should expect that consumption rate will drop for these playing in the consumer goods sector.
I'm happy that you just mentioned consumer goods. I want to just go to the consumer goods index to give you a full, picture of what is happening in that sector. But the good thing is that the listing of BUA food has added momentum to that sector, which is good. You can see that people are looking at that sector now and see where they can position. Especially those that had December year end and those that has March year end. And I believe that this event in that sector now will open a lot of people's eyes to know what to do. But don't forget that there are some companies that are foreign investor has interest in that sector, like Nestle, Unilever, PZ, and all those stuff. Foreign investor has interest. These are things that should guide investor on what to play. If you look at this chart here now, this consumer goods price, consumer goods index for in red, it went down. You can see that this chart, this what's called candlestick is black. It tells you that it didn't drop marginally yesterday. Despite the BUA was up yesterday, it was down. It tells you that yes, the momentum for BUA, yes, for me, it's still there, but I'll tell you, many investors are looking at alternative because the price has gone up. For that, we'll see that when we start seeing more of earnings from other sector, that is where we can know where the sector goes. For me, I see that there will be kind of misplay or missentiment once we start seeing the numbers in that sector, because BUA, we're expecting to pay very fantastic dividend with a 40 naira listed stock around 48. Your yield there will be very slow or less, will be very low. But for those that are looking for momentum investing, speculative move, take advantage of this listing, make your 30%, 20%, 40%, and leave the stock now and come back later after the market has settled on it and find a real position. Because I'm telling you, the market will price the stock where it belongs. That's why they are listed. It was listed at 40 naira. Market will also put it where it belongs at the right time. For me, if you are there, you have made money, be looking up by either to the end of today or Monday, start taking profit. But for those that are not there, just wait. There is a opportunity it will pull back. That is the beauty of stock market. When you see stock going up, when it pull down, I will call it pullback. It's a opportunity for you to buy. No stock in the market, nowhere in the stock market that you see any stock going up all through. There must be correction, form of profit taking, on form of news that will come. That is an opportunity for those that didn't enter at the top to buy at low. For me, if you have missed this rally in BUA, don't panic, don't kill yourself. Just take a position to watch for that position in the market. This is the consumer index, as I've said. You can see that after it was listed, you can see the listing price gained 10%. The next day, it was still down. That's why he gained 10%. And also you can see that yesterday too, that index was still down on red. For me, it tells you that that's industry, that's a sector or industry.
There's a bit of volatility.
Yeah, volatility. Then let's quickly look the way of the general market direction. That'll give us the picture for you to know what to do this morning as investor. Yes, you can look at
Well, I was going to ask you that the market closes today, of course, at the end of the week.
Yeah.
And so where will the market anchor some of the activities? Are we likely to see it ending positive?
Yes,
or in the positive territory, or we say, because of course, like you said, the consumer goods, we saw a bit of decline in that sector yesterday, but closing the week today, how optimistic are you?
Yeah, I will tell you that the BUA food will still gain today, but if you look at the market performance for the straight 4 days now in this week or last week, last trading day of 31st, there's a possibility of profit taking today in the market, because after 5 days up market, people are bound to take profit. It's anywhere in the world, and profit taking is not, it's not a bad in the market. If the profit today is good, but I see that investors are looking the way of financial sector. Why? because banking sector in Nigeria have shown that they are the most consistent dividend paying stock, so that activities in UBA has improved, in Zenith Bank, in Access Bank, because of dividend expectation. That, and also yesterday, among the sectors, so the banking sector recorded green yesterday, 0.44, others were in red. Insurance was about negative 1.38, or it was 0.9 down yesterday. But tell you that now that we are seeing this kind of positive sentiment for banking stock because of their dividend payment, also is going to visit other stocks that are consistent in dividend payment. You saw yesterday that UCAP was up because of people expecting dividend from it. All those companies that are consistent in their dividend payment for the last 5 years, that is where people are looking at. And so don't forget that the PFAs also look at the pension fund, the pension index in the market. Most stocks that are making up that pension, they're also gaining, because these are areas people are looking at the end of the year, expecting companies to start paying dividend, and that will support the market.
Let's drive hope now with the direction for the close of the week and of course the coming days.
Yeah, from the chart here you can see that market oscillated in this blue rectangle here. You can see market touching up and down here before a breakout, and this breakout for me is likely to to continue in the new week, but today determines where the market will be. But I tell you, whether the people take profit today in the market will still close positive for the first trading week of the year 2022, which is a good news for the market. And I said earlier that our market has changed kind of direction, that the first month of the year, January, has always closed positive for the last straight 2 years, and for almost 12 years closed positive 7 times. And the fact is that possibility of January closing positive this year is high, and that is that you as an investor, you take advantage to run this month of January and go with the trend of the uptrend we're seeing to make money for yourself. Those that have entered earlier, at the end of previous year, it's opportunity for you to start take profit going into the year. For me, the market will close positive, and it's a good thing, a good start for 2022. Which means investors should not panic. Rather, we expect that this volatility that we saw in 2021 is likely to repeat itself in 2022. But we as an investor should not panic. If you have survived 2021 with the volatility, also be ready that this year take informed decision. Go for information. If you like, go and pay for it, because that is the only thing. If you want to make money, pay for information and get information and invest wisely. At the end of the day, we're smiling, because I said it last year, market does gain about 6.07, while some portfolio for some individuals gain about 50.39% for the year. It's all about information and where you are getting your information.
I think information is key in navigating this market. I think it's a good place to leave it there. Thank you so much, Mr. Ambrose Omodion, for always coming on the show. Of course, I know you'll be here again on Monday, and perhaps then we should be able to look at some of the sentiments that may drive the market ahead of the fourth quarter earnings report that is likely to hit the market.
No problem at all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your time once again.
Thanks for having me.